What's happening, fandoms? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we react to music videos and shows. Today we're going back to some more of the Pixelists love with the episode 3 Easter eggs and detailed breakdown for episode 3 of the Legends of Vox Machina. And we've really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Unfortunately, Bella's too busy to join us today, but I want to not get lost and catch up and make sure we're keeping up with Will. So let's dive right into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pixelists. I'm Will, and today we're here to talk about episode 3 of the Legend of Vox Machina season 2. Now, real quick, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the campaign
Spoiler.
then obviously certain details and Easter eggs are going to spoil aspects of the show for this season and potentially beyond. That being said, if I ever tread heavily into like a massive moment type of spoiler, I will give a threat level midnight warning. And as long as that symbol's on the screen and you don't want to know, just mute until that symbol leaves the screen, and then you'll be safe again. Other than that, when this video comes out, we are going to be getting really close to when episodes 4, 5, and 6 drop on Amazon Prime. If you would like to watch along with me, Blake, and the rest of the community, join our Discord. We had a watch party for the first 3 episodes, and we are going to have watch parties for every set of episode drops for all of season 2. So would love for you to join us. If you'd like more details, like I said, join the Discord, and we will be figuring out the exact when and where there. So
Kind of cool.
Without further ado, let's dive into episode 3. Alrighty, in this first scene, there's just a quick couple of details I wanted to point out. And to begin, let's take a look at Vorgal's ice. I just thought this was awesome, that it's been a few days since the initial attack, and it's in close proximity to Thordak and his Hellfire, and this stuff has still not melted. It just goes to show how strong these dragons are. Moving on from that, we get a quick line from Umbrasyl telling Thordak that Western is on the brink of ruin, and that's just a nice bit of foreshadowing because the story is about to head in that direction. And finally in this scene, this next NPC looks like he's brought his offering straight out of the 100-acre wood. The jug is probably just playing into that joke, but it could also be an homage to a magical item that Grog actually loots from one of these dragons in the campaign. We'll have to see. As we
the animators
scene, it's revealed that Pike has been
claimed that one as a Winnie the Pooh reference.
Spell. Now, as you can see, everyone is gathered around here except for Vax. He is away scouting ahead. Now, this is something he would often do in the campaign as the rogue, as the stealthy one. He would scout ahead and report back before the crew made their big move. And one detail I love in this scene is that when Vax does come back, he kind of startles everyone. Everyone turns their head to see what that was, except Vex, because of course she wouldn't. She is more than familiar with his ways. One other quick thing in this scene is that we have Percy say, "The bad news," and they got to be doing this on purpose at this point. Like I mentioned last episode with diplomacy, bad news is a name of one of Percy's weapons, his gun. So I'm interested to see if they keep doing this. Next up, we've got Pike casting Detect Magic to see if there's anything funky going on since they can't find this temple. She is unsuccessful, so next we have Scanlan using Scanlan's foot to go ice skating. And the detail I love here is, you know, he bites it and everyone's laughing at him, especially Grog. But then as soon as it's revealed that he might actually be in danger, Grog is on it instantly. He goes with reckless abandon to go help his friend. And I just love that detail. Grog and Scanlan are best friends in the campaign. And it just
they are besties.
Speaking of best friends, we then have Pike trying to pull Grog out of the ice by his fingers, and unfortunately she is not strong enough. In the campaign, after Grog gets the Titanstone knuckles, he gives his current bracers to Pike, which then makes her way stronger. So this could be a setup for that. If that does happen in the show, then perhaps later we can see Pike lift Grog. Next up, we have Percy turn to Keylith and ask if she can't turn into a bird or something to help. Keylith doesn't understand how turning into a bird would help here. And I couldn't help but think of another moment in Campaign 1, the goldfish incident, where if Keylith had turned into a bird, things might have gone a bit smoother. All right, before things get too out of hand, enter Zara and Cash. We have a couple of displays of abilities here. First off, we have Cash using his spiritual weapon in the form of a spear. He also did this last episode. I meant to bring it up, but I forgot, so here we go. And then we have Zara using telekinesis to lift Scanlan to safety. Now, they claim they're here at the behest of Osisa in order to help Vox Machina, but it seems like that's not actually the case based on what we see later in the episode. It seems as if they honestly just want the vestige of divergence for themselves, for the Slayer's take, because they think it belongs with them. And
which is not at all how things went.
What's interesting is Zara's necklace. This necklace is the very same one that Vex is going to ultimately get and use with Trinket and, maybe some Goliath barbarians. But in the campaign, this necklace was looted from Purvan's tomb, just like the Deathwalker's ward. So either they're changing that for the show, which is entirely possible, or Zara has already been in the sunken tomb. And there are a few things that could maybe, lend credence to that theory. The fact that they get there and basically find the tomb underwater really quickly. They also know to stay back at the start to avoid the traps. And then, they kind of ditch Vox Machina once in the middle of the tomb as well. There's also the little cave that Vax goes in when they're in the tomb, and he remarks that this has already been looted. Now, do all of those things mean that absolutely Zara has been to the tomb before and that's where she got the necklace? No, not at all. But I thought it was interesting food for thought. All right, let me backtrack a bit.
Yeah, and since the sunken tomb seems to have been occupied by a group of sentient fish people, they certainly could have been the ones to have looted all of these things. Doesn't necessarily mean that Zara's been there, and I don't think that she probably has. So it's possible. I think they're just rewriting and having the foresight of now having seen all the way through episode 6. They're rewriting lots of things, pretty big things too. So a small detail like where this locket came from, child's play compared to some of the stuff they're changing later on.
I'm picking up on more scorned ex-lover vibes between Vex and Zara. We've got them kind of one-upping each other on the items, and I'm going to touch more on that in just a second. But we also have them kind of, going back and forth during the battle later. And, they do ultimately save each other a number of times. This moment in particular, we have Zara casting Eldritch Blast in order to make sure Vex doesn't drown. Now, would she do that anyway? Maybe, but it just feels like there's an extra level here. Speaking of romances, there's a dynamic to touch on here between Cash and Keylith. In the original campaign, there was a bit of a vibe that culminated in Cash stealing a kiss from Keylith, and it'll be interesting to see if we get that same moment in the campaign. They're having a couple of flirty bits here, and it's also leading to a bit of jealousy from Vax, so I could see the payoff in the kiss happening and then ultimately leading to maybe a bit of a revelation between Vax and Keylith. We'll have to see. All right, back to the campfire. We have Zara and Cash explaining to Vox Machina about the tomb and about Purvan, the champion of the Raven Queen. Vox Machina gets a big laugh out of this name, and Scanlan even says something about the pedo bear. And this is lifted directly from the campaign. Kind of a recurring thing in Critical Role is the cast making fun of Matt's NPC names. So I'm glad that they included this bit in the show.
One of the highest
cool.
of the Order of the Raven Queen that fought in her name was, where's the actual information here? There we go. Was named Purvan.
Yeah, he was.
Purvan. Purvan.
Last name, Pedo Bear.
We're running out of good names, aren't we? We've finally gotten to the end of your list of good names.
Oh, you guys are cruising to a TPK today.
Not on the anniversary, Matt. Not on the
This is great.
Yep.
Cash and Z left, staring at the bodies.
Purvan.
Yes,
On
get
the
your
second-
perv on.
Yes.
Emphatically.
All right, that's
Come on, Matt.
more hit points under these guys.
Alrighty, now let's take a look at the goodies in the bag of holding. First and foremost, we've got the vial of holy water that Pike picked up from Gilmore's. We also have the satchel that Vax picked up. And a lot of you guys pointed out in the comments of my other breakdown that this could be the deck of many things. Yeah, it totally could be. My only hesitancy, and the reason I didn't explicitly say that in the other breakdown, was just because, is Gilmore really going to have just a deck of many things sitting out on a shelf? Maybe. I mean, maybe it's not that
I don't
deep,
know.
right? I hope it is the deck, because that would be amazing. And if it's not, I hope they do still get one, maybe in the same way they got it in the campaign. Anyway, I digress.
Movable
Next
rod.
up, we've got a rod, which I believe to be an immovable rod. And then we have some rope, which I believe to be endless rope. Both items Vox Machina actually had during the campaign. Next up, we have this hand. And if you'll recall, during episode 1 of season 1, Vox Machina gets into a bar fight, and they quite literally disarm Agar. Grog is then seen stuffing the hand into the bag of holding afterwards. So I'm glad to see they're keeping up with continuity here. What is with Vox Machina and dismembered body parts? And then finally, we have this sandal, which I believe is the sandal of Gygax. This is an item that showed up in Gilmore's shop in season 1. I'm not going to go over all of it again here. If you'd like to find out more, definitely check out my breakdown back from that episode last season.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I think the joke here is that they just snatched it up in Gilmore's shop in the earlier episode this season. So it was fun to see it again. And then, of course, we have the broom, which I spoke about last episode. But at some point, the characters are going to find out that this thing flies. All right, now let's move on to the most important item in the bag of holding, the belt of dwarven kind.
Yeah.
Grog gets this out, puts it on, and is blessed with a glorious beard. Now, this is a fantastic moment. This happened in the campaign, and the backstory here is Goliaths, which is what Grog is, don't typically grow facial hair. It depends on your canon, but that's how it was in Exandria. And Travis really wanted Grog to have a beard. So at some point, they come upon this belt, the belt of dwarven kind. And how it works is every morning you have a 50% chance on your dice roll to successfully grow a beard. And this was something Travis, tried every day. And I don't remember exactly how long it took him, but it was like a journey. And so the day he finally rolled successfully and got the beard was like a huge triumph for him. He was so happy.
I seem to recall Matt made it harder than a 50% because of Grog's facial hair statistic with his race. So I feel like it was maybe a 10% chance or something. I'm not remembering exactly, but that 50% chance wouldn't have taken very long, certainly.
And this plays into a moment we get later this episode where the monster chops off half of his beard. That didn't happen in the campaign, but Vax happened in the campaign. Literally the same day he finally successfully got his beard, Vax shaved half of it off as a prank because he and Grog have like a ongoing prank war across the campaign. I'm gonna include that clip from the campaign because it's amazing and it's worth it. But this moment in the show just put a huge smile on my face. I knew they were going to have to do it. And after seeing season 1 Grog with no beard, which was fine, I'm so glad to have bearded Grog finally join the party. And I think one added layer of depth to this, which could be cool, and maybe I'm reaching, is the fact that Grog just had this encounter with Earthbreaker Groon last episode, who had a glorious beard, and now he's rocking one too. So I feel like he's kind of getting an extra level.
Where does your strength come from?
Emulating Groon.
It's his
By
beard.
the end of this week, you have grown what is a rather majestic, full chin beard, matching all over. You were probably the first Goliath to have
Does it have
facial
a
hair, let
mustache
alone
too, or is
quite
it-
that strong. No, it's a full we're talking Portland man.
One
Portland
moment, though.
man?
One
Oh
moment.
no, oh no, oh no.
Another thing that I did
Brew coffee.
was go off and get some like a lathering cream,
Okay.
and
Or
on
not.
the second to last night after I took Grog out to the tavern,
Oh no.
bought him a lot of drinks.
I assume dodge.
I didn't shave off his whole beard,
Don't shave off any of it.
only
That's
half
so
of it.
mean.
I just became the most handsome man in the
Right.
Do
world.
not shave his fucking beard off.
This much.
Make
Make a stealth check.
a stealth check first.
Yes.
Make,
Oh my god,
Make a
he's
perception check.
so
You're
mad
a
at
terrible
you.
person.
Make a perception check.
I have advantage.
Just broke a mechanical pencil.
Did you? Oh my god! He's so mad at you.
DM. I rolled a natural 20. So I have advantage on stealth checks, and I rolled an 18 and a 20.
All right.
Natural 20.
So sleeping soundly, drunk.
You are so mean.
Oh
my
not
God.
Hear the approach of Vax. As you pull out your blade and get ready, I want you to go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
Oh my god.
Still gotta do it.
After
You
the
got in
20?
the room.
You're
Wow.
It's one thing you're not being noticed, it's another to shave someone's face without being noticed. This is
Yeah.
about stillness of fingers, not just how quiet or stealthy you can be.
I'm using luck. Okay, so I rolled a 21.
Roll a perception check, Rob.
Yes, I did.
Where's your slide?
Advantage, because this is against your
9
face.
plus 21.
This is against your face.
Can you rage?
Fuck. I have 3 a day.
13.
Oh!
21.
All right.
Why are you so evil?
Why did you trip me and make me eat shit 2 months ago?
Why do you?
Oh!
It's an appetizer of things to come, my friend.
The crowing sound of distant roosters on the outskirts.
And we just made up.
The farmlands that surround the outside of Iman, which are relatively close and within earshot. The morning sun
Amazing.
resting over the eastern skyline of Taldore. Grog, you come to consciousness. Stretch, reach up to rub half a beard.
Half a beard?
Half a beard.
Like just one side of my face?
One side of your face.
I say in a low,
Do we even
guttural
have
growl.
You have no idea it was me.
Vax. I didn't have to wake up to know it was you,
Make an
motherfucker.
intelligence check. Make an intelligence check.
Oh, we all know it was you.
I reach down, I find a dark stone. I find a dark stone on the ground. And I go over to the bare side of my face and I draw a very beautiful mustache. To complete the other half of it.
Alrighty.
He is dumb as a post. Why does he know that?
Because you're the only fucking idiot stupid enough to do that.
Magic is mysterious. Why couldn't you grow half a beard due to magic?
He's already grown
Maybe
4 days on a full beard.
maybe I don't know. Let's say I assume.
However, it is in the morning. Beard check.
Come on.
8,
Nah,
4.
no movement. Smooth as a baby's breath.
Sorry, big guy.
So good. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we get an iconic D&D moment, and that is Vax and Vex staying up to keep first watch. Now, if you'll notice,
You know, the level of professionalism in their D&D streams has gone absolutely through the roof over the course of the last 5 years. It's so fun to see those old clips in that old Geek and Sundry like bedroom. I feel like they were filming in, but yeah, amazing. And it takes me back to when I first watched campaign 1 for sure.
in the background, everyone else is sound asleep. And if you've never played D&D before, you got to keep watch. Otherwise, you're going to get ambushed in the middle of the night. So members of the party usually cycle through different hours so that everyone can still get some sleep. Love the little shout out to that here. Secondly, in this scene, we get the drop of "Do not go far from me." This is a line lifted directly from the campaign, and they just made it so much more heart-wrenching in the show.
Yeah, they
combining
did.
it with flashbacks to ultimately lead up to the end of this episode. What a gut punch, but so well done. I'm going to include the clip of the line from the original campaign, and then I'll see you in a second.
I'm helping, and as we do so, I say, I don't know what is going to happen in the following hours. Do not go far from me. If we are out of earshot, you are too far from me. Do not go far from me.
Do you think this is what... Do you think this is what Mother saw before she died?
Do not go far from me.
I won't, I swear.
Alrighty, next up, let's look at these flashbacks. There's a couple of fun details here. But to begin with, the flashbacks themselves were just awesome. There were no flashback sequences in the original story, so this is new to me and, you know, everyone else that saw the campaign. We're getting some fresh content here. Now, there was a novel called Kith and Kin, released at the end of 2021, that was about the younger twins. But still, there's these scenes and these flashbacks were not covered there. So this is new to everybody. And we just get, you know, a glimpse at their characterization, even at such a young age. We have Vex putting on the tiara, just kind of wanting to feel the way that she thinks she's supposed to, based on how her father is treating them. You know, she wants to feel that nobility. She wants to feel that
Right.
level of prestige, if you will. And then maybe her father will love her. He won't, because he's a douche. But it's just it's interesting to see where these character traits developed. And on that same page, we get to see Vax and why he's so protective. We also get to see him picking a box because we know that Vex and Vax both went different routes of study, and he learned roguish ways, and she learned the ranger ways, which we see a little bit later in the flashback. She has a whole camp set up, which rangers are one with nature and can make a camp in a quick hurry. So just fun details to see. But also we get Troy Baker playing Sildor, the twins' father. And if you don't know Troy Baker, you probably do, and you just don't realize it. He is one of the behemoths of voice acting. And a lot of the cast know him because, they're all voice actors. So they've all worked with each other on one project or another. And it's been a long running thing of, I think they've been wanting to get him to guest at some point on the show. So it's fun that they've gotten him to appear here. Alrighty, back to the present. It's the next morning and we have found the underwater temple thanks to a spell from Zara, which probably isn't anything in particular, but it might have been locate object or it could have been find a path. Regardless, they need to get down there. And so they look to Keylith to use her magical abilities to help them with the water parting. She says, I'm not that great with water. And this is kind of a clue into her character arc on the whole.
Yeah.
She is of the Ashari, and she has not undergone her Oramente, which is going to the other 3 elemental tribes and learning from them. So I just thought this was cool. And she uses her wind, which is the only one she is familiar with, in conjunction with Zara's telekinesis in order to get the job done regardless. Funny thing is when they go down here, Vox Machina indoors, Grog is having trouble. But it's because it's a pull, not a push, which honestly, in terms of physics, would be the only way this could work being underwater, right? If it was a push, the thing would be flooded. So kind of a fun joke, but it also makes sense. Alrighty, so now we enter the sunken tomb and we have our first proper dungeon crawl of the show. This is just so fun, navigating traps, finding secret passageways. What is more D&D than this? We also get the encounter down here with the Adaro, I believe they're called in the show. And these are more than likely based on Kuatoa from D&D, which are, basically fish humanoids, just like the Adaro are. But, funnily enough, there are spellcaster Kuatoas that can control water and create whirlpools and vortexes, just like the final boss does here. So, nice touches. Alrighty, I want to touch on one aspect of this encounter in particular, and that is Grog and Pike. Pike gets her first glimpse at kind of the craven-edged Grog.
Yep.
She sees him go on this absolutely manic bloodlust, just repeatedly stabbing this thing, and it scares her. She even starts to ask him about it after the combat's over, but doesn't really have the opportunity to get into it. And I believe this is setting up for a major payoff. And you know what? I'm going to threat level midnight this. So if you don't want massive spoiler for this season and you didn't see the campaign, mute until this symbol goes away. All right. I think this is setting up, and I mentioned this in my episode title breakdown, but for the payoff of Grog impaling Pike with Craven Edge, and that kind of being the final straw in realizing that something needs to be done here. And I mean, that's what happened in the original campaign, and shortly after that, Grog dies. So I feel like, not that they need to end every set of 3 episodes with like a death cliffhanger, but if I'm correct in when this should happen, I think that'll happen at the end of episode 6. So that could be another heart-wrenching clip.
Right on target, Will. It does indeed happen right at the end of episode 6. From the benefit of being in the future where we've already seen them 100%.
Fanger. Anyway, yeah, I just think this scene is setting it up, and it excites me. I mean, as awful as those things happening are, it's an amazing story, right? So, the fact that we get that here makes me think we're gonna get that there, and it has me excited. So, all right, let me run through a few other things in this combat real quick. We have Vax showcasing his blink back belt that returns his dagger to him once again. We saw this in season 1. We have Scanlan using Scanlan's hand to carry everyone as Keylith uses control wind against control water for this amazing shot. And I think this is also further set up for, showcasing how Keylith is not as strong as she could be and will soon have all of these elemental powers. And then also we have Pike using her spiritual weapon, just like Cash has, but hers is taking the form of a hammer. And then I missed this earlier, but I meant to mention that Pike also casts light at the start of this dungeon, and she will cast it a little bit later as well. Finally, we have Cash casting either detect magic, find a path, or locate object himself. Again, it's probably not any of these specifically, but spiritually one of these to find that hidden passageway. All right, with that, we enter the emotional damage chamber, and I feel like this is worth a deeper look in and of itself. There seems to be a pile of bodies in the middle of the room, surrounded by what looks like some sort of, ritual circle or something. And the circle kind of looks like one of the Critical Role or early logos, but you really can't tell because it's mostly covered. But it could be a dice as well. But I think this is a clue that like something's happening here. And if you saw the season 2 trailer, which I'm sure you probably did, then you would remember there was this beholder-esque monster that showed up, and in the campaign they fought a beholder in here. So if you put 2 and 2 together, I still think Vox Machina has some enemies to fight while down here, and maybe that beholder gets summoned by whatever ritual this is. Maybe not, but I think it is a little strange that there's bodies piled up in the middle of the room. So Vex goes ahead, and like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, he often went ahead in order to scout and check for traps, which is what he's doing here. This is when he finds the hole in the ground and goes to investigate and finds the shrine to the knowing mistress and a little bit more information about the Sphinx. However, while he's down there, Trinket actually finds this hidden switch. And fun detail here is that brown bears, which Trinket is, actually have the keen smell feat in D&D, which means they are essentially really good at finding things with their sense of smell. So it's a nice little detail that he's the one that finds the switch. Another interesting detail here is that there is a corpse right on top of this switch, maybe a little bit of an ominous warning, because this is also where Vex's corpse ends up landing at the end of the episode. This warning is not heeded as Percy, presses the switch, reveals the hidden sarcophagus, and he and Vex are like, let's check this thing out. Credit to Vex, though, she does check for traps. She has learned from her brother, and she is investigating the outside of this tomb and doesn't seem to find anything. However, Percy does not investigate for any traps when he reaches in and actually grabs the Deathwalker board. And those two things actually exactly happened in the campaign as well. Vex was trying to check for traps, but Percy just reaches in and takes it. And I'm going to include the clip after this segment. And so Vex is hit with this spell, and she is instantly killed. Vax immediately makes his way up, and we get this hauntingly beautiful shot at the end of the episode, framed with the Matron of Ravens hovering above them, which is so nice. I mean, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're going to find out next episode. So I won't say anything more on it now. But yeah, I'm going to actually include the clip of this happening in the campaign. It's a bit longer, but it's, worth it. You can see how true to form this episode was to what happened.
Yeah.
And then I'll see you in a minute.
They get 2 eye
Perception check
stalks.
the tomb and see if it's safe to grab shit out of it.
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Hey, Vax, you got that rope yet?
I'm gonna
Hold on.
Very gently, I'm removing the leather armor.
Yeah, I am. Geez, how much you been eating?
Okay.
Whoa!
I need Vex, I need Percy, and I need Trinket to all make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, snaps.
Evil shit.
Sorry.
Oh,
1.
1.
For
Dead.
me,
Why do you roll that big?
Instant
I
death.
rolled well on it before.
Why are you rolling twice?
Going to use one of my
Trinket.
re-roll every saving throw.
6 for Trinket. This is a good night, you guys.
Poor Laura.
Did I find any loot in the bodies of the losers, the little guys?
You find a bunch of shitty spears,
Cheers.
crappy leather, and through all them all about 12 gold pieces.
You can almost buy a book.
18 total.
So
21.
you manage, as you reach out and grab for the armor, as your fingers touch it, there's this vibration, and it seems like the nearby shadows in the corners seem to reach up towards your hands. You pull back in time, but you and Trinket notice a little too late as there's a burst of death, a burst of death energy that just bursts out for a 10-foot radius around the entire sarcophagus. You avoid it. Both you and Trinket
Are dead.
suffer 56 points of necrotic damage.
I'm unconscious.
Does that bring you below 0?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Vex's body falls and hits the stonework, and you look over as you see her eyes stare up, the last bit of air escaping from her lungs as the life drips out of her form.
Oh shit.
What's going on?
Running over.
What? Running over, pouring a healing potion in her mouth instantly, as quickly as possible.
I can revive her too.
Cash, do something.
The healing potion has no effect, and as you go to her, you can already feel the clutch to her skin. Her body is instantly cold from the necrotic blast.
This is also another example of them rewriting things, because as you can see, Ashley Johnson is not at the table. Pike is not present in this dungeon at all, so Pike can't help in any way. But in the show, they're just ignoring that, and they're writing her back in to pretty much all of the events. And the other thing that this is showing is that Cash and Zara had a far friendlier relationship with Vox Machina than they do in the show. They were very antagonistic in the show and very adversarial. And in the campaign, that none of that really existed. So yeah, it's just interesting. We're seeing lots and lots of fairly significant rewrites and things being done differently in the show, which keeps things fresh even for the critters.
Kashaw!
You glance over at the sudden intense energy of the room and see your sister lying cold and lifeless on the ground, being cradled by Zara.
What the fuck happened?
Cash.
I can raise the dead.
Wait. Wait. Ray, that's different.
I can revivify, or I can raise the dead.
Revivify.
Let's do it.
I'm already running over. I'm picking her up.
Such a creature has
What
died within the
happened?
last
What
minute.
happened? I was only down there for 30 seconds.
Do you have it prepared?
Meaning, what do you mean?
Do you have it prepared as one of your prepared spells?
I believe so, yeah.
Check your list to see if it has a little dot
I'm
next
pouring
to
a healing potion in her mouth. I'm pouring a greater potion in her mouth.
it. Okay. No effect.
The fuck?
Okay, I'm actually going to cut that off there because it's getting into territory that the show hasn't covered yet. But we will finish the rest of that clip in the next breakdown. I know you were worried about it since there's nowhere else for you to see the end of that clip. Don't worry. Next breakdown. And y'all, that's actually going to do it for me this episode. I really appreciate it if you've made it this far in the video. I've actually been up literally all night finishing this. We are in the middle of a snowstorm here, and our power went out several times. And the first time that it happened, I obviously wasn't expecting it, and lost most of my work on this breakdown. So I knew, the new episodes are about to come out, so I said, screw it. I just stayed up all night to redo the work, get it finished, and here we are. And I say all of that not for your pity, but for your YouTube subscription. So,
Get them, Will.
We've been getting more love on these videos than this channel has ever gotten. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of it. And I think I already mentioned the watch party, so I'm not going to mention it again. Sorry, sleepy brain. But yeah, thanks, guys. And I'm going to give you one more clip to end this video on. It's a gut punch.
I got one.
What did you got?
I didn't put it on the list,
No, you didn't.
but it's a present for Liam O'Brien. I didn't get to give him his birthday present last week, and now I do get to. Yeah.
Twin birthday present.
It was your birthday.
Oh my goodness.
I wrapped
open
it
it, come
all
on.
pretty. Open it up.
Okay, we do thank you in
You're
advance
welcome.
and afterwards as well.
Open it.
Okay.
Open it. Open it.
We'll edit this part out, right? Yeah, I just meant the unwrap.
It's a ring box.
Please be a turd.
It's just a pile of
Posing.
blue poop. Wow.
Oh my god.
Did you see it?
Not big enough. It's
Oh man, it's beautiful.
What is it?
It's a ring, and it's got raven feathers on and a little black
little
gem,
star.
and on the inside it says, "Do not go far from me."
Oh, wow, twinsies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if it'll fit you, but
Happy birthday.
happy birthday. And all that.
Wow. Wow, I didn't remember that. That's so touching. Laura and Liam, they decided to play twins in their D&D characters because they share the same physical real birthday in real life. They have the same birthday. And so that is why we have the twins, is because of their shared birthday. And that was a fun little twin to twin, fake twins birthday present. That's very lovely. Okay, well, that was amazing as usual. Will, thank you so much for your breakdowns. It's really cool to see and hear someone with deep experience and knowledge and insight look at these things and find them for us and identify what they all are. It's very, very cool. If you haven't already gone to the Pixelists and subscribed, check them out. They do great content. They do breakdowns and discussions of every campaign 3 Critical Role episode. That's the Hell's Bells campaign, if you're not familiar, and lots of other content as well, including these things like these breakdowns. So go give them a follow. The link will be in the description below, and we'll leave it right there for you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.